Hollywood's awards season is usually associated with prestige, glamour, and celebrations of cinematic excellence. However, not every film released during the year earns praise. Just before the biggest night in Hollywood, another awards ceremony shines a spotlight on the movies that missed the mark. The annual Golden Raspberry Awards, better known as the Razzies, once again delivered their humorous but biting verdict on the worst films of the year. In 2026, the biggest winner of the night was a science fiction remake starring Ice Cube. His film War of the Worlds walked away with the notorious Worst Picture Award, along with several other categories, making it the most criticized movie of the year. Yet the ceremony wasn't entirely about embarrassment. In a surprising and uplifting twist, actress Kate Hudson received recognition for turning her career around after a previous Razzie win, thanks to her new Oscar-nominated performance. The night perfectly captured the dual nature of Hollywood, failure and redemption, often happening at the same time. The Razzies, Hollywood's other awards show. The Golden Raspberry Awards have become a tradition in the film industry since they were created in 1981. While events like the Academy Awards celebrate artistic achievements, the Razzies take the opposite approach by calling out the year's most disappointing movies. The ceremony is intentionally comedic and self-aware. Instead of statues representing artistic excellence, winners receive a small gold spray-painted raspberry mounted on a film reel. Though the awards are meant to be humorous, they still attract attention from critics, fans, and industry insiders. Being named the worst film of the year can be embarrassing, but it also sparks conversations about what went wrong with certain big-budget productions. In 2026, one movie stood out far above the rest, and not in a good way. The big winner, War of the Worlds. The sci-fi remake War of the Worlds dominated the ceremony. The film stars Ice Cube and was directed by Rich Lee. It attempted to revive the legendary alien invasion story first written by H.G. Wells. The original novel, published in 1898, is widely considered one of the most influential science fiction stories ever created. Over the decades, the story has been adapted countless times. One of the most famous versions was the 2005 blockbuster directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Tom Cruise. The 2025 remake attempted to bring the classic story to a modern audience with a new cast and a contemporary setting. Unfortunately, critics and audiences were unimpressed. The film ultimately took home several Razzie Awards, including Worst Picture, Worst Actor for Ice Cube, Worst Director for Rich Lee, Worst Screenplay, Worst Remake, Rip-Off, or Sequel. Winning 5 Razzies in one night made the movie the clear champion of cinematic disappointment. What went wrong with the film? Many fans had high expectations for the remake because of the story's iconic status in science fiction. However, the movie struggled in several areas. Weak storytelling. One of the biggest criticisms centered on the screenplay. Reviewers felt the plot lacked emotional depth and suspense. Instead of building tension around the alien invasion, the narrative often seemed rushed and confusing. Characters were introduced but not fully developed, making it difficult for audiences to connect with them. Underwhelming visual effects. A modern sci-fi film usually relies heavily on spectacular visuals. However, critics pointed out that the film's special effects looked unfinished or unconvincing. For a story about giant alien machines destroying cities, the lack of convincing visuals made the experience less immersive. Mixed performances. Although Ice Cube has proven his acting abilities in many films over the years, his performance in this project received widespread criticism. Reviewers described his portrayal as lacking emotional range, which weakened the central character's impact on the story. Ice Cube's long Hollywood journey. Despite the Razzie sweep, it's important to remember that Ice Cube has had a remarkable career spanning decades. He first rose to fame as a member of the legendary rap group NWA, which helped pioneer gangsta rap in the late 1980s. His solo music career also produced several influential albums. In the 1990s, he transitioned successfully into acting. One of his most beloved roles came in the comedy Friday, which became a cult classic. He later starred in numerous films across different genres, including action, comedy, and family entertainment. His filmography includes box office hits like the Ride Along series and Barbershop. Because of this long track record, many fans view the Razzie result as just one unfortunate misstep rather than a career-defining failure. Disney's Snow White also draws Razzie attention. Another major film that caught the Razzies' attention was the live-action remake of Snow White. The film starred Rachel Zegler as the iconic fairy tale princess originally created in the classic animated film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The remake had already generated controversy before its release due to creative changes and casting debates. When the movie premiered, critics were divided on its approach. At the Razzies, the film's CGI dwarf characters were collectively awarded Worst Supporting Actor and Worst Screen Combo. The decision highlighted how the film's heavy reliance on digital characters became a focal point of criticism. Other notable Razzie winners. The Razzies also handed out several other awards during the ceremony. Comedian Rebel Wilson was named Worst Actress for her performance in the action comedy Bride Hard. Meanwhile, Scarlett Rose Stallone, daughter of action legend Sylvester Stallone, received Worst Supporting Actress for her role in the Western film Gunslingers. Although the awards are humorous, they can still be tough for actors and filmmakers to hear. The Razzie Redeemer Award. Amid the jokes and criticism, the ceremony also celebrates one special honor each year, the Razzie Redeemer Award. This award is given to a performer who previously won a Razzie but later delivered an outstanding performance that redeemed their reputation. In 2026, that honor went to Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson's redemption story. Kate Hudson has had an impressive career in Hollywood for more than 2 decades. She first gained widespread acclaim for her role in Almost Famous, which earned her an Oscar nomination and launched her into stardom. However, not every project in her career received praise. She previously won a Razzie for her role in the musical drama Music, directed by singer Sia. At the time, the film sparked controversy and negative reviews. But Hudson's fortunes changed dramatically this year. She earned a nomination at the Academy Awards for her role in the musical drama Song Sung Blue. This remarkable turnaround made her the perfect recipient of the Razzie Redeemer Award. Why the Redeemer Award matters. The Razzie Redeemer Award sends an important message: one bad film doesn't define a career. Hollywood history is full of examples of actors who recovered from critical failures and went on to deliver award-winning performances. The award encourages audiences to remember that filmmaking is unpredictable. Even the most talented artists sometimes take risks that don't work out. The internet reacts. As news of the Razzie winners spread online, social media users quickly began discussing the results. Some fans joked about the irony of a classic story like War of the Worlds receiving such harsh criticism. Others defended Ice Cube, pointing out his long list of successful films. Meanwhile, many viewers celebrated Kate Hudson for her career comeback. Hollywood's strange relationship with failure. The Razzies reveal an interesting truth about the film industry: failure is an inevitable part of creativity. Producing a movie involves hundreds of creative decisions, from writing and casting to directing and editing. Even when talented people are involved, the final product doesn't always work. But sometimes those failures lead to valuable lessons. Directors, actors, and studios often learn from criticism and improve their future projects. The Razzies' unique role in awards season. While some critics dismiss the Razzies as mean-spirited, others argue that the ceremony provides an important balance during awards season. Events like the Academy Awards celebrate the industry's finest achievements. The Razzies, on the other hand, remind everyone that not every project is a masterpiece. Together, they paint a more complete picture of Hollywood's successes and missteps. Will War of the Worlds become a cult classic? Interestingly, some Razzie winners eventually gain a second life among fans. Movies like Showgirls were initially mocked but later developed passionate cult followings. It's possible that War of the Worlds could eventually receive the same treatment. Sometimes films that are widely criticized at first are later appreciated for their ambition or uniqueness. Only time will tell if this remake will experience such a transformation. Looking ahead. For now, the 2026 Razzies will be remembered for 2 major moments. The overwhelming sweep by War of the Worlds starring Ice Cube. The inspiring redemption story of Kate Hudson. One represents the industry's biggest disappointment of the year, while the other shows the power of a comeback. Final thoughts. Hollywood is a place where triumph and failure often exist side by side. One year an actor might win critical acclaim, while the next year they might face harsh criticism. The 2026 Razzies highlighted that reality in dramatic fashion. While War of the Worlds earned the dubious title of Worst Movie of the Year, the ceremony also reminded audiences that redemption is always possible. And in the ever-changing world of cinema, today's flop could be tomorrow's comeback story.